Hello, my name's Julie Williams, Registered Migration Agent with Migration Down Under, and I'm here to talk to you about what's news in immigration. There's always something to talk about in immigration, as it seems to be a hot topic of interest. And just recently, the main changes have been with with employer-sponsored visas, with the temporary skilled stream. Now, the new training levy fund that has been proposed and has been on hold until it has been passed. It was recently passed through the Senate the other week. So just be aware that there are going to be more costs for employers sponsoring people either on a temporary basis or permanent basis, as you will be required to pay an additional training levy fund at time of lodgement of the nomination. Now, that's not going to affect any pending applications, and when it's going to be coming into effect, we're yet to know, but it could come in any day now. I'd say they're just putting the legislation together, and it will be introduced shortly. So just be aware, if you've got a nomination pending, you might want to look at putting it in. How it's going to affect employers, because the obligation is with the employers to pay the fund. They legally are obliged to do so, and it is against the law to pass any of these training levy funds on to the actual employee. Now, if you're lodging a nomination transfer for a current 457 holder, or you're lodging a new nomination for a 482 visa, you're either going to be charged $1,200 a year or $1,800 a year per year for each year that you're wanting that temporary resident for any employer. So it depends on whether your turnover is 10 million or higher, or less than 10 million. So if it's higher than 10 million, obviously you've got to pay the higher fee. The same with permanent residency. If you're going to nominate and support an application for sponsoring an applicant for permanent residency, you will be charged a training levy fee of either $3,000 or $5,000 at time of nomination. So be aware, they are going to be additional costs, and if you've got a number of applicants, that is going to affect your budget and your bottom line. Now, the other changes are with labour market testing for the 482 visa. As we know, it's mandatory for all occupations unless there's exemptions such as international trade obligation. But the 21-day duration of having to have the advertisement up and going has increased to 28 days. Once again, hasn't come into effect yet, but it has been passed through the Senate. So that will be a change. It will come through any time. It possibly may not come through until the 18th of June, to be in line when there are other changes from the 18th of June affecting labour market testing. In regards to other news, I know a hot topic for a lot of people that have got their permanent residency and have got parents overseas but don't qualify for the contributory or the non-contributory parent visa. It's scheduled to come out last July and was postponed. It's still pending. We haven't heard anything further in regards to that long stay temporary visa, where the more you pay, the longer they can stay, and not having to meet the balance of family and have got to pay health, medical, etc. That hasn't come through yet. So unfortunately, for those that are hoping to have their parents out to help with childcare or just to be there for support, we're still waiting, and we'll let you know when that changes. Citizenship, there's been no change with citizenship. That's still going along as is. If there are changes, it will come into effect from the 1st of July and will only affect those applications that are yet to be lodged. It won't affect any pending citizenship application. I know the biggest complaint from people that have got their citizenship in is, how long is it taking? Well, it's very difficult to know, because it seems to be varying dependent on where you're lodging it and your background scenario. So there is a lot more scrutiny into citizenship, especially background checking, and that's where they're reliant on third-party providers. So that's what some of the delay can be. Depending on what country you're from, it may mean that they're relying on that country to obtain third-party information about character, and sometimes that can delay the process. They do say on their website currently it takes 10 months from application until ceremony date, and I know some people have been waiting a year, and that could be also identity check as well. If you've got names that are spelt differently, sometimes you may not have a surname. It may have been listed in a visa application as a surname, it may not have, and they're just trying to meld it all together to make certain that you are who you are. So it's usually identity and character checking that seems to be delaying the citizenship process, but be patient, it will come through eventually. And obviously, as always, if you've got any further questions just about changes, pending changes, etc., don't hesitate in giving us a call on 02 9419 5411 or send us an email, info@migrationdownunder.com.